Why is the middle class's dream of owning a home collapsing? 59% of Indians have given up hope. How real estate turned into a gambling hub. Just imagine for a moment. The morning newspaper lands at your doorstep, you hold a cup of tea in your hand, read the headline, and your eyes freeze. 59% of Indians have given up the hope of buying their own home. You are shocked, and a question rises in your mind. Can it really be true that so many people can no longer dream of owning a house? That dream, which has always been considered the biggest dream of every Indian family. A home is not just four walls and a roof. It's a sense of security, belonging, and social status. But why is that very dream now breaking apart? This is the question that leads us into the deep and painful reality where real estate is no longer the land of dreams, but has turned into a den of speculation. Today, we will dive deep into this subject. But before that, if you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe so you always get our latest updates first. So, without any delay, let's begin today's discussion. In India, owning a home has always been considered the most important life goal. After marriage, after starting a career, the very first dream of every young person is having their own home. Parents save money for years so that one day their children can build a place to call their own. But times have changed. In recent years, property prices have skyrocketed. In just the last 5 years, the prices of homes in India's top 8 cities have nearly doubled, while incomes have risen only marginally. Which means, caught between galloping inflation and stagnant salaries, the middle class's dream of a home was bound to collapse. Nitin Kaushik, a chartered accountant, shook the entire nation with his social media post. He wrote that the 5-20-40 rule, once considered the benchmark for home loans, has now lost all meaning. Earlier, it was assumed that you could get a loan of 5 times your annual income, you needed to pay 20% as down payment, and your EMI shouldn't exceed 40% of your income. But look at today's reality. If your annual income is 10 lakh rupees, you can't even imagine buying a 2 crore house. Where would you arrange a 20 lakh rupees down payment? And how could you possibly afford monthly EMIs in lakhs? This impossible equation has turned homeownership from a dream into a cruel joke. So the question arises, why are prices rising so high? The answer is speculation. Homes are now less about living and more about investment. The wealthy and high net worth individuals buy multiple properties at once. In pre-launch projects, they bulk book apartments and later sell them at higher prices. Many even use agricultural income as a tax shield, buy land, and later reap profits. Real estate has now become a tax shelter. The biggest loss from this is suffered by genuine home buyers, who get pushed out of the game. In cities like Gurugram, the situation has become so dire that housing prices that have surpassed even New York. Now just think, when a city in India overtakes one of the most expensive cities in America, where will the common man go? This is exactly why the direction of the real estate sector has changed. Today, the sector is no longer focused on the middle class, but is catering exclusively to the high-income group. The numbers prove this. In 2022, the number of houses priced under 1 crore was 3.1 lakh. By 2024, this dropped to just 1.98 lakh. In other words, the availability of affordable homes has declined by 36%. On the other hand, the supply of luxury homes has multiplied. In Delhi NCR, luxury housing supply increased by 192%, and in Bangalore by 187%. This clearly shows that developers are no longer selling dreams to the middle class, but to the wealthy. Now, let's look at the condition of the middle class. Those who still dream of buying a house have no option but to rely on home loans. But EMIs are breaking their backs. In 2020, the EMI to income ratio, that is, the percentage of monthly income spent on EMIs, stood at 46%. By 2024, it had shot up to 61%. This means more than half of your salary goes straight into bank EMIs. So how will you manage food, children's education, healthcare, and other needs? This is why for families, buying a house now means making huge compromises with their lifestyle. This pressure on the middle class is not only financial but also psychological. When someone works hard for years and still cannot afford a home, insecurity and hopelessness begin to creep in. Living in a rented house becomes a compulsion. Rent also rises every year, making the burden heavier. Earlier, people used to say, instead of paying rent, put that money into EMI and buy your own home. But today's reality is that EMIs are so high that paying rent actually feels cheaper. The breaking of the homeownership dream is not just an individual's problem, it is a social challenge. When a large section of society cannot own a home, stability disappears. Families begin to feel insecure. Children grow up in unstable environments, and the gap of inequality only grows deeper. The speculative game in real estate is not just pushing prices up, it is disturbing the entire economic balance. When the rich keep getting richer while the common man is deprived even of owning a home, it becomes the starkest example of the great Indian inequality. So, what is the solution? Experts believe that the government and policymakers must take serious steps. First, the supply of affordable homes must be increased. Developers should be incentivized to build low-cost and middle-class friendly housing. Second, speculation must be curbed. There should be a limit on how many properties a single person can buy, and misuse of tax exemptions must be stopped. Third, home loan conditions need to be made more favorable for the common man. Interest rates should be lowered, the burden of down payments reduced, and the EMI to income ratio controlled. In addition, rental housing must also be promoted so that those unable to buy can at least have dignified rental options. Remember, a home is not just a structure of bricks and cement. For every Indian, it is a symbol of dignity, security, and dreams. If 59% of people have already given up on this dream, it is not merely their failure, but a failure of our system. If corrective measures are not taken in time, in the coming years, houses will remain nothing more than a luxury symbol for the rich, while for the middle class, it will remain an unfulfilled dream. Today, the need is to accept that real estate is heading in the wrong direction. It must be corrected, because only when every Indian has a home of their own will society be stable, families secure, and the true dream of India fulfilled.
If this video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources, news from various news agencies, opinion polls and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.